We save approximately about 30,000. Then I walk into my boss's office and I said, "This is for you." I hand him a letter and he says, "What's this?" I said, "It's my resignation."
Today, we have a special guest, Dave Leong. He is the owner of Results Only LLC and has successfully acquired over 150 properties. His extensive experience in the real estate industry brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to any project or initiative. So get your notepads out, guys, and get ready. Dave Leong, how you doing?
What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Thank you for being here.
100%.
Yeah, I know you're super busy, taking over the world.
No worries.
But thank you for taking out the time to be here on our podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So you want to just get into it?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, that's what I feel like doing. I feel that, get into that vibe.
Yeah.
So what was your life before real estate?
I was actually I was born and raised here in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Okay, JC.
And my parents, especially my father, very traditional. Even though he came over from China, but he came here young.
Okay.
So he was raised in the American system. Go to school, get a good job. But what happened was that my grandfather died. He passed away, and he had businesses, restaurant, cleaners, and my father got left the restaurant and the real estate. So my father actually, from that, he raised my two brothers and my two sisters, myself. We were raised very traditional American. Go to school, get the education, go get the good job, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
I graduated. I ended up working restaurant and retail for the first maybe 10, 11 years of my life.
Was this around like high school or after?
After college.
After college, okay.
After college. And what happened was that the very last company I was with, every company I always did very well. But the last company I was with, that year, I was the national sales manager of the year. Very big car company, something like Pep Boys.
Okay.
And what happened is that when it came time for my annual review, so my annual review, what happened is that, they go through all that same questions and answers, and you did this good, this needs improvement, the whole 9 yards. At the end of the day, I didn't even care about all that. I just wanted to know, how much are you giving me more?
Yeah.
Right? Because
what am I making?
Yeah, if I was the
Money
national
talks.
sales, just in the New Jersey division, we made the company more than $3 million more in profits.
Wow.
Right? So I looked down at this review and what he wrote as far as my increase. And, I'm very good with math, but for some reason, I really needed a calculator. And I told one of the workers at the store, hey, bring me a calculator. I started adding this thing. And at the end of the day, it came to 50 cents after tax was my raise.
Was your raise after being per hour after being one of the top salesmen,
the top salesman in the nation
for the company,
to increase their profits by $3 million, a small division. And it's like, man, you guys couldn't give me like 5% of that $3 million.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. Back then, for sales, because this is like after college, right? For
Yeah.
you, it was a different game, right? You didn't have all the resources that
No.
salespeople have now.
Like, internet, even though it was around, it's not like today.
It's not like today.
Back then, it was.
Like you have so
nobody
many tools
used
now.
it for anything.
Yeah, so to be the number one salesman in the country with no tech, no internet,
Yeah.
no Google, no YouTube, no
100%.
nothing. Yeah, that's like real deal sales.
So I knew from that day I wanted out. I didn't know how. So, and my wife at that time, she was working for Marriott, but she always, I don't know, like she always had this entrepreneurial mind, and she's always doing additional businesses. Like she had an eBay business going on. She had like some flower business going on in addition to her job. So
Now, were you guys? So you were already married at the time when
we
you were
were
working?
already married
Okay.
at the end of that, at that job.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened is that she watches this show late night, and she comes to me the next day. She said, "We're going to be real estate investors." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She buys this course for like $600 by Carlton Sheets.
Okay. Go
And
back.
back then, he was the person for um, no money down,
Mhm.
all that creative financing and things like that. I didn't know anything about it. So at that very time, we were also buying our second property. We were moving from the one family, and we were actually moving to a two family in Bergen County.
Okay.
Because the one family, we were in a town where they didn't have a high school, and we didn't want them to go to the high school in the next town.
Gotcha.
So we moved from there. What happened is that our realtor at that time, um, when we bought the property, not our realtor, our mortgage person, she came with her husband, who was the realtor that sold us the house.
Okay.
They came to do a tour to look at the house. She never saw the house, and we were friends. So she wanted to come and look at the house and congratulate us. And as they were walking with my wife through the house, he asked her, "What is this thing on the bed?"
Mhm.
This is, and she said, "This is what she's going to do in the future, real estate investing." And he said to her, "Send that thing back."
Really?
Yeah, because this is exactly what he told her. This stuff does not work here in New Jersey.
Wow. Look at that. Now, this is an old course, so was it like a DVD?
DVDs, I think maybe cassette tapes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like
so you
that
would
kind
listen
of
to the
course.
cassette tape, Yeah.
But it was extensive
Mhm.
and information. Now, when I look back, man, those strategies are still relevant today.
Wow, look at that. And that
Yeah.
same person told you to send it back. I think every time we're getting into something, there's always the naysayers, right? Like you got to be careful who you listen to. Because I remember when I got into real estate investing, same thing. A lot of people, I would present it to them, and they just couldn't see what I saw, and they would tell me, "Oh, be careful. That doesn't work. This, that, and the third." I literally had to get to a point where I would shut people up. I'd be like,
Yeah.
even my attorney was like, "Mark, are you sure you want to do this? A lot of risk." I'm like, "Bro, either you with me or you're not."
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very traditional, our tri-state area, real estate wise, because properties move fairly easy. Even in like recession times, properties still move.
Right.
Unlike other states where properties will not move,
Yeah.
and they need to become creative, like the subject twos or the seller. They have to do it in order to sell the property
Yeah.
because it doesn't move as quick because this is New York area.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she actually ended up sending the course back, and
Wow.
he got her into being an agent.
Okay.
So she got her license, and then afterwards I followed doing the same. So we were doing it part time,
Hmm.
right? But it took about 2 years or so, a year and a half, 2 years, for us to build up a reserve because every closing, she said that we would do the closing because we didn't need the money at that very time. We were working, so
Okay.
we had money to pay our bills. But every closing we got, we saved majority of it to have the reserve because she already knew we were going to quit
Yeah.
our
So
jobs.
you knew it was coming. So
Yeah.
basically, you got the course. Your wife saw a commercial.
Yeah.
Lit the light bulb. Right. This is what we need to
Yeah.
start doing. We got to get out of the Marriott. We got to get out of sales in auto sales. What
That's
you were
it.
doing. So next thing is real estate. Right. So now you both become agents for the same brokerage.
Yes.
Right. And now you're still working full time. Right.
Yes.
Okay. So now you start doing deals as agents.
As agents.
What happens next?
We save approximately about $30,000. She quits her job first, so now she's doing real estate full time for the next 3 to 6 months or so. Then I walk into my boss's office, and I said, "This is for you." I hand him a letter. And he says, "What's this?" I said, "It's my resignation." He goes, "You're quitting?" I said, "Yeah, I'm quitting." I said, "Look how much we make for the company and look how much they give back."
Yeah.
And so he looks at the letter and he says, "So how long are you giving me?" I said, "Today. Today's the day."
Today's the day.
Yeah, because he's thinking, is it 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever?
Yeah.
And I said, "No, today's the day. I'm not coming back."
Yeah.
Um,
Now, at that point, were you already making enough as a real estate agent to support you where you could leave your job?
we were doing enough deals where it would replace our income,
Okay.
but not much more.
Not much more.
Yeah. But what gave us the confidence was that it was that we had the reserve.
Yeah.
Like we saved enough for maybe like a year and a half of a reserve.
No, that's good. I think it's important for people
Yeah.
in the industry to hear that, because a lot of times they do one deal, make a little bit of money, and then might drop everything without reserves and just go in head first,
Yeah.
and then end up getting a bad taste of real estate. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs just have it in us to, just jump the gun and go straight into things. We're not really thinking about the
Exactly.
consequences.
If you're single and still living at home with no obligations and little to no bills, yeah, it might be okay to
Yeah,
do
go
that.
for it.
But if you have we had 2 kids, and our kids were very young at that time, and both of us would have no income if we didn't have jobs anymore.
Yeah,
So we had to have a better plan than just winging it.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
eventually we went full time. We built a real estate team a few years
If
later.
you're looking to dive
that
into
goes
the
on
world
to
of real
sell,
estate, we
I don't
have
know,
the perfect
45,
tools
50
and
million.
resources just for you. Our carefully selected top secret document library is packed with proven documents to streamline your transactions and help you navigate the real estate market with confidence. Additionally, we offer a comprehensive wholesale 101 masterclass designed specifically for beginners. In this course, you'll learn everything you need to know about finding affordable properties, negotiating lucrative deals, and building a network of eager buyers. We're here to empower you with the knowledge and skills necessary to flourish in the real estate industry. But that's not all. The Real Estate Investor's Secret Vault is your gateway to unlimited success. Our marketing matrix and calculators will assist you in making informed decisions, ensuring maximum profits effortlessly. So don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your real estate journey. Join us today and unlock the secrets that will propel your real estate career to new heights. Log on to investorsvault.club and get started now. Now let's get back to our program. So you're in the business now, a few years. Did you start your own brokerage at this point?
No.
Okay, you were still working for...
My wife actually worked for a team, like an internship.
Gotcha.
So she did that for about a year. Eventually, she would leave that team to form our own team. The best thing about it is that when you work for someone like that internship, she got to see how the leads were generated, how to speak to people, how to convert the leads. Like operationally, back then we were still using fax machines, so you would get leads by fax. So how it was generated, what sources they used. Each source has different dialogues. You had to, I don't remember back then, like software for real estate agents to do databasing was not very popular. It was still done manually, actually. Every lead would be filled out by hand.
By hand.
And then you would put it in a binder, and you would be calling the leads, flipping and putting the notes at the bottom of the sheets.
But so it was definitely a lot harder because you had to write, tedious, but it still was a system in place that you guys actually got to see hands-on.
Well, you know what the crazy thing is? Back then, of course, there's people producing far more than that time period, but still there were people producing $100-200 million in volume at that time.
Yeah.
With no technology.
Yeah, interesting. And
Yeah.
that's why when I hear people complain, I really don't have sympathy for it.
No, and that's
Like,
why
go out and knock on some doors, man.
that's what she says. She
Yeah.
says that, man, like, why don't you guys door knock? Why don't you guys kill it with open houses? Why don't you get on the phone and start making some phone calls? Go to network meetings, meaning like active and face-to-face lead generation.
Yeah.
But 90% of the people, doesn't matter whether it's agent business or wholesale business or, you know, people working in real estate in general, they just don't want to do that anymore.
They don't want to do it. You know, they don't want to go out and get their hands dirty.
No.
You know, I say it all the time. You have to do that. Like in the beginning of my company, I was working full time, and I would work on my business until 2 in the morning and get up at 5:30 in the morning and do it all over again every day for a while until I finally got my first deal, until I was able to make more in my business than I was in my career, and that's when I made the transition.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Wow. So you've been in real estate for a long time. Now you're also in the investing side.
Right.
What made you want to become just an agent running a team to a broker and also an investor building his portfolio?
Well, my wife ended up in 2008-ish. She ended up buying the brokerage that we have still today.
Wow.
So everyone in 2008, when everyone said real estate and the economy, the sky was falling.
Yeah, the whole crash.
Yeah, but that's the best time to buy real estate or buy businesses in general,
Preach,
right?
David.
So she ended up putting together the group to buy the real estate brokerage at that time. And everyone told her she's nuts, she's crazy, don't do it. Even my father told her don't do it. But she did it anyway.
Good.
And that becomes one of the best businesses we have even to today.
Wow.
And it wasn't until right around 2011, 2012, we both go into a seminar that was made for agents. One of the sessions was about real estate investing on the outside, like it had a board telling what the session was about. So we said, you know what, let's go in there. Maybe we figure out how to work with investors to get more clients, to sell more homes. But in fact, inside that seminar, one of the first things the speaker said was that 90 to 95% of all real estate agents, past, present, and most likely the future, will not and do not invest in real estate.
That's so sad.
And I was like, man, like, I think he was talking to us directly, even though there was 500 people in the room.
Yeah.
But then that made me think back too, that the reason we got into real estate was not to be agents.
Yeah.
It was to be investors because of the course he bought.
The initial course.
And the second statistic the speaker said was that about 90 somewhat percent of the population, under 90% of the population in America individually don't invest in real estate. That means that majority of the real estate is owned by companies, corporations, Wall Street, the very wealthy, and foreign investments. That means that we, as the individual legal status in this country, we live in the land of opportunity, but we don't invest in the land of opportunity.
Insane.
That's crazy.
Makes no sense.
So
that's why everybody who came here from their different country came for that opportunity that we're not taking advantage of.
That's it. Even me, I was born here, I didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the number one thing I think that statistic is so low is because there's no formal education about what we're talking about today. There's no high school that teaches it. There's no college that teaches it. There's no master's degree. There's no associate degree. There's no PhD degree. So how do we invest in real estate? We got to go to seminars like we do or like the Robert Kiyosaki's of the world. But why is it that there is no formal course about this
Yeah, it's the big
or
question.
degree.
Yeah, why do they try to keep that away?
I have no idea.
You know, makes you
And
think.
yeah, so after that time,
Yeah.
we started to invest traditionally.
So 2008 happens, crash hits. You
Yeah,
guys get an opportunity to buy the brokerage where you work at.
yeah,
You get that, right? Now,
yeah,
fast forward to 2012 is where the light bulb went off.
yeah,
We need to start investing. Not only focus on moving sales, but actually acquiring
yeah.
assets, right? Now, from 2008, it was middle of the crash, all the way to 2012. Did you find yourself struggling in the real estate market?
What happened is that I realized we did struggle,
Because there was no loans going on. It
and
was really hard to get a loan.
I'll tell you why we struggled though.
Okay.
See, initially we bought into, yeah, real estate's crashing, economy is bad, banks are failing, whatever. But my wife, I don't know how she got to meet two or three these agents at that time and leaders in the industry. And, we talk about how's your business, how's our business. So one of the agents that she came across before the crash, he was selling about 100, 150 homes a year. During the crash, his volume annually from like 08, 09, 10, like this, his volume goes to almost 500 units a year.
Wow.
And we're
So it
like,
actually jumped up during the recession.
yeah, we're like, I thought everybody's sky was falling.
Yeah.
So, and the second person, the same thing. The third person, the same thing. And we were like, no, something's wrong here. After we did some more masterminding and analyzation, we realized the reason why their businesses can continue to grow in that type of an environment is two things. One is because they already have experienced it before and they knew prior. See, because they know when there's expansion, they know there's going to be
Opportunity.
some sort of, not full-blown recession, but there'll always be like a downturn per se. And because they experienced it before once, twice, maybe three times in their career, they prepared long before.
Wow.
Like they were waiting for that time period to happen probably 10 years before, 5 years before. They don't know when, but they're well aware that it's going to happen. So what happened is that they always had systems and models that if that time period comes, we know we're going to rock star this thing. Unlike years before, maybe they were in the one that was in the 87 crash, or you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had this strategy in place for when that rainy day happens.
Yeah.
So how could we capitalize on those rainy days and
So-
pretty much create a strategy around it?
And that's what we did. So coming out of 08, 09, 10, that weird period of the recession, we said, what business in real estate can we engage in that no matter what market, it's going to thrive? And not only thrive, but it can do it for the long term. And real estate investing was that. Like right now, as sales drop because interest rates go up. Yeah, like we have all these rentals that revenue keeps coming in.
Yeah.
And trust me,
And the
rent
keeps
is not
going
going down.
Yeah, it keeps
Like
going up.
next
That was my
year,
next comment.
like we have almost 400 units. Next year, like I'll give you an example how we do it. In January, we're going to renew probably 90 somewhat % of the leases. So if you take 400 units times, let's say we raise the rents here in New Jersey, you're allowed to raise somewhere around 3 to 5% depending on the city. Let's just call it, $40 a unit.
Yeah. Times
400 units.
Yeah.
That's
a significant increase.
Yeah, like you're talking 16,000.
Yeah.
A month
A month, yeah.
increase. So we saw this back in 11, 12, 13, that, you know what, when there's a downturn like 08, 09, rents actually went from, let's say it was 1,000, it went to 2,000
Yeah.
while real estate was falling by 50%. We were like, we got to be in that business.
Yeah.
And when we were in that seminar, it just made all the sense that this is the business of the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like in your career, you've always surrounded yourself at the right places, whether it's networking, getting some coaching from the beginning.
Yeah.
Where in those rooms that you're in, you're gaining knowledge from people who are doing it at a high level. And from there, opportunity falls your way where you're actually able to jump when those situations happen.
Well, the thing is that they help you see, not that they literally help you, it's just by what they're doing, or maybe the opportunity they're in, or maybe it's the way they go about the business. They help you see things that you may normally don't see yourself.
Yeah.
It may be an opportunity, or it may be a way to do what you're already doing far better than what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a skill level.
Yeah, it's skill. I have a mentor and coach for everything. I don't want to, I think it's the only real shortcut, where you're learning from somebody's mistakes and they're able to pour into you and give you the exact blueprint will work for them. Now, you don't have to copy exactly, but at least you have a roadmap per se.
So like my wife, she's a very direct, like if you ask her for advice, or you ask her for coaching, or if you ask her, man, how do I go from this level to the next level? Most people can't handle her type of coaching or advice, because she'll tell you, like, Marco, just do this. And then, you saw 90 YouTube videos, you heard 50 other people, and she already knows 20 steps ahead if you do it this way. She already knows 20 steps ahead, not just the success of it, that if you just veer from it, you're gonna have a roadblock.
Yeah.
Or if you do it differently, you're gonna have the roadblock. So the thing is that with what we are, is that when we see somebody doing it 10x what we're doing, whether they're doing it perfect or not, they're doing 10x you.
Yeah.
So they got to be doing something, or more than one thing, far better than you are.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times ego gets in the way, right? And I always say you gotta be teachable. You gotta be teachable, or you're not reachable, right? You're never gonna reach those goals if you're not willing to accept coaching or somebody's honest opinion. I'm different. I like that straight up. This is what you're doing wrong. Smack me in my face, punch me in my stomach,
Because
and set me on my way.
It shortcuts you.
It does. It does. I need that tough love.
So the way we figure it is, like, if we sit with, like, I know a wholesaler that this year he'll close out with pretty close to 800 deals. So the way I look at it is like this: whether whatever he's doing or however he's doing it, it matters, but it doesn't matter, because you're going to still have to cater it to your market and cater it to your style.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we should learn as much as we can and copy as much as we can. So the concept of it is that if he's doing 800 deals and I'm just an idiot, like in school, you got to get 65 to get a D and at least pass.
Yeah.
Right? So I said to myself, if I just copy as much as I can, good or bad, what this person is doing, and I'm just an idiot, like I am terrible, and I can only copy exactly about 30%. Okay, so 30% of 800 deals, I'm still going to do 240 deals at an average of, I don't know, 15,000 per
deal.
Per deal. The numbers add up a lot.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look at it. I want to be an idiot at somebody doing it at a massive level, because there's no way that, maybe I'm not as smart as him.
Yeah. No, but that's an interesting.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. If you could get a genius and just get a little piece of what the genius mind does, it'll probably 10x your life.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Interesting. So you've been in real estate for so long. What would you say is your number one superpower?
Um, someone actually asked me that the other day, and I had to think hard, right? Because we always tend to think we do everything great,
Yeah.
but in fact, we really don't. Um, so my number one thing is acquisition. How to source deals and actually close them to sell with us, whether as an agent or um, as a wholesaler. So, but I got that skill early on in when we first got into real estate. The next few years, as we grew the team, I was always a for sale by owner agent.
Okay.
So the same skill to get for sale by owner listings is the same skill a wholesaler needs in order to get off market.
Yeah.
So off market is just another fancy word for sale by owner,
Pretty much.
right?
Yeah.
So, and in fact, the way I look at it now, everything, whether it's on market or off market, always was off market first.
Yeah.
So the skill of working with for sale by owners and off market, how to extract it, lead sources, um, the scripts of it is exactly almost the same. The skill is almost the same, and I've been doing that skill, I don't know, since 2005, 6.
So you overall like an operator, like your mind, how it works? 'Cause it sounds to me that you're like acquisitions also system operator, right? And your wife is kind of more the visionary. Is that safe to say?
Yes. So I don't like her skill is that she could see 20 steps ahead,
Yeah.
good and bad. Like it's a weird skill I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Like I'm a visionary, but I usually only see the good. It
Yeah.
takes my wife to point out the bad.
You know what it is? She could sit in a room in 2 minutes speaking or just watching people. She can tell you, like, we're not doing business with them.
Yeah. She has
She
discernment.
just has that,
Yeah.
I don't know, like gut feeling,
Yeah.
but it's not a gut feeling. It's real,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, acquisition is something I'm really the best at. Operations, I'm good, but I'm not great.
Okay.
But that's why you have to hire people to your weakness, right? So, like administrative, we got to hire people to do because they can do it far better than you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. It took a while. Like one of my first hire was bookkeeping.
yeah,
Because it just wasn't my passion.
yeah,
It was taking away time. I could be getting deals. I could be doing so much, and I was getting yelled at by my CPA. You did this
Yeah.
wrong. You did that wrong. So I'm
and
like,
it actually
okay,
can cost money
yeah,
because
yeah, it costs money, and I could figure it out, but no, why? You're not going to thrive in that, and the book's
Yeah.
got to be right. So that was my first hire, and it helped a lot, and that was my first experience that you can't do it all. Hire somebody who's going to be great at that
yeah,
department that you're not at.
100%.
Yeah. So, so what kind of advice would you give somebody who's trying to get started in real estate nowadays?
It's a tough industry. It's a very tough industry. You know why? Because majority of the people, they're employees. And the skill of an employee is not necessarily transferable initially to be self-employed. To be like I'll give you an example. Most employees, they work 9 to 5, 9 to 6. They clock out, they go home, they eat dinner, they watch football, TV, play with the kids, whatever. A self-employed, you got to be ready to rock and roll at 6 o'clock, and your day finishes maybe
When it
10,
finishes.
11, 12 at night,
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
See, they can't understand that.
Especially in the beginning.
They're trying to bring the habit of an employee to be, they want to go home at 3, they want to watch TV, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not going to happen. Because so the two things is that you got to first evaluate who you are. Is this going to be something you're going to dedicate the time and energy to really do it?
Yeah.
If you're not, I was interviewing someone yesterday, and I told them, listen, if you're not available to work full-time 8 to 8, 7 days a week, we're not hiring you.
Yeah.
This is not for you.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he's like, And I said, even to make 50 to 80,000 self-employed, like the guy who owns a restaurant or he owns a little 99-cent store, he's got to have that store open 7 days a week.
Yeah, he's in there.
8 to 8.
Crack of dawn, and he's
can't-
out there leaving late.
He can't close the store. Yeah, let's close it Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 o'clock. Let's close on Saturday and Sunday. You know, it's freaking, we got to go watch the Jets. Like, I get it, but then don't open the store.
Yeah, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah. So self-employment is difficult in that sense, the transition. And then the second part, for those that want to get started, is that it requires a lot of work and education. My wife tells them, you need to do a 2-year education and internship. And they're like, why can't you just teach me like the guy on the video? 30 seconds and make me a millionaire. Like,
it just doesn't.
Do you know how
that
stupid
way.
that sounds?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Majority of the people have to go through 4 years high school, 4 years college, PhD degree just to get maybe a 6-figure job. Maybe after the PhD.
Yeah. After all the degrees, after all the long studying.
Do they know how stupid that sounds? Like, can you just give me a 2-day course and let me make $400,000? The answer is no. Now, are there exceptions? Yeah, but they come with a different background. They come with a different set of resources.
Yeah.
Maybe they came from Wall Street,
Yeah.
and they, you know, their past clients were all wealthy people.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah, but that's not the majority.
No.
That's not reality.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if they're not up for the work and, you know, they're not willing to put the time, education, this is just not, you're not going to come from an employee and think you're going to be a successful self-employed.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen.
No, that's a lot of gold right
Yeah.
there. I tell people all the time, when you want to get into any business, like, you really got to look in the mirror and evaluate who you are. And not only that, there's a lot of mindsets that have to shift.
100%.
You know, the person who works a regular job to an entrepreneur, self-employed,
Yeah.
they're two different people. They view problems and situations different. So you really got to do some self-evaluation. So that's really good that you said that.
I think one of the, who was it? One of the Shark Tank people, one of those guys, they said that this is what entrepreneurship is. They're willing to work 90 hours to make less than they made at their 40-hour job.
Yeah.
Because they refuse to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
And if they're not willing to do that initially, to put in the 90 hours to make less than they made at 40 hours as an employee, entrepreneurship's most likely not for them.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, since we're on mindset and self-evaluation, is there any books that you recommend that you read recently that's giving you like inspiration?
I'm reading a book. Well, it depends the level of your business, but right now I'm reading a book that the title is 10x is better than 2x. Don't ask me the author. I just know that that's the title. And it expands the concept that when people are trying to like double their business, it's actually more difficult to double your business than to 10x your business. It's easier to go from, let's say, 100,000 revenue to $1 million in revenue than to go from 100 to 200.
Wow.
In terms of operations and growth.
Interesting.
And I'm like, whoa. But as you're reading it, it makes total sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's one book. I'm always on Money, People, Deals by Stefan Arnio. Okay. That's probably the finest real estate investing book I've ever read.
Really?
So I use it as a reference instead of a reading.
That's good.
So these two books.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Now, who are the 3 people in your life that's been most influential to you?
For real estate, yeah?
Yeah.
My wife. Yeah, you like.
That's good. Good answer.
You know why? Because in the I'll give you an example. Before we got into real estate, we could roll back. We had jobs, but she comes home one day with like this bag of stuff, right? And I said, Maureen, where's your paycheck? Because we need to pay the lights, the bills. And she couldn't answer me. And she pulls out this bag from up the closet, and I look in it, and I take them out. I'm like, what the heck are these things? She says they're Beanie Babies. I was like, what the hell are Beanie Babies? They're just some, little toys.
You might have to pop up a picture when we post this on YouTube so
she
people
goes,
can see what a Beanie
we're going to
Baby is.
sell them and make a lot of money. I was like, come on, man, give me the
She's
paycheck. Don't play around. Don't play around, right? Like I wanted the check or the.
Instead, you got some Beanie Babies.
I was like, how the hell am I going to pay the electric? And sure enough, we start selling. I didn't even know how to scan something onto the internet. Like she would start selling these things on the internet.
That's right. She already had an eBay store.
Yeah. So, and I was like, okay, so I see the money coming in. She says, so I asked her, how are we going to get more? Because I wanted to sell more. She says, we got to wake up early on these given days. I was like, yeah, but we got to drop the kids off. She says, no, like just let's drop them off and let's go. We would go and stand in lines at Hallmarks and stores that sold toys. We would have to wait for the daggone truck to come in, stand outside, and when they come in, 40 other people, we would bum rush the door and like buy what we can buy. And that was crazy, but you know what? I swear to you that money was the reason we were able to save to buy our first house.
From Beanie Babies.
Yeah. Beanie Babies. And then she eventually got into estate sales.
Okay.
Because eventually that was fading out. Yeah. She had to find all the products to sell. She got into estate sales, like, when someone passed away, they have the contents of the house.
Yeah.
Who's going to liquidate it? Instead of throwing it away, a clean-out company, especially here in North Jersey, in the old homes, people had antiques.
Yeah.
So she started selling that. Eventually, even like Sotheby's Auction, Christie's, these kind of companies, big auction companies, they were buying stuff from her. And I'm like, man, if they're buying it from her, how much are they selling it for at auction in Manhattan?
Yeah.
So that's why I said, Maureen. And then she buys the course. She gets us into real estate. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, the marriage and your partner's, your biggest partner.
So
you got to always put that first.
So important. Yeah.
That's good, man. So what are the future goals for you in 2024? Year's coming to an end. What's in the future?
We want to do B2B with our platform. We have an education company, obviously the real estate investing company, the brokerage still, but from an investment platform, education systems, we're going after businesses to do what we do. So we want to be the education and the systems to, let's say, a brokerage or to a large team, because I already know most of these industry companies, they work real estate investors, but they don't really, because they're real estate brokerages and they're traditional.
Yeah.
95% of their business is traditional, FHA, conventional, relocations, things like this, but not really expanding their business through residential investing business. And we started that journey already, where we're partnering with brokerages and top teams, and they're seeing their revenue increase. They're seeing, like, we'll partner. They'll give us like agents. Like I could show. There are 2 agents that before they were doing about 15 deals a year. Now they're doing almost 40 deals a year.
Wow, doubling. A little more
Yeah,
than
more than, because, I'm teaching them how they, with 3 investors, if they're mid-level investors that do 10 deals a year, just working with 3 people, you could do 30 deals. Versus if you're working with FHA buyers, you literally have to work with 30 buyers.
Oh, yeah, it's good. And that's good that you're educating people, because so many times when I work with agents or brokers, they don't understand my business model, which is wholesaling, house flipping, and they just shut it down immediately.
Yeah.
And when we started working together, it was different. You knew exactly what I was doing. I mean, it was funny because you actually like wholesaled the wholesale once.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I actually witnessed it. We made great on our wholesale up front, which was $20K, but you were able to figure out something on the back end that I had no idea you can do.
Yeah.
And it worked out for all of us. But just because you're that savvy and you're educated because of your experience, I think it's real powerful that you're able to expand that and show other companies how to implement those same systems that work into their team or brokerage.
And it's a passion. You know why? Because from that time we went into that seminar, and that speaker said that 90+% of real estate agents don't invest in real estate. And they're the number one group of people who see the most hot deals.
Yeah.
And
like they
why
have
are you
access
selling
to it.
all 10 of them?
Yeah.
Just buy 1 or 2 for your family and your future and your retirement. Why are you making $8,000 in a commission when you could buy this thing and, over time, it'll be worth hundreds of thousands?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah. It's all through education, helping people see the light.
Yeah.
So that's good, man.
Yeah.
All right, but there's a lot of good stuff. I'm sure we could keep going for hours. You're a busy man, but why don't you let our listeners and viewers know where to find you? Any links or any websites that you want to share?
Yeah, like you could go to our website, resultsonlyinvestments.com, and you can look us up there. We're in a revamp period because we're going B2B. But that's where you can contact us.
All right. Well, thank you, Dave. Make sure you follow him on Facebook, Instagram, all social media platforms, and check out his website. Thank you for coming through.
Look forward to it.
All right,
Thank you.
guys. See you soon.